pleasure it is to be here and also to be together with public. I'm going to say a word about education in general before I get to AI and education, if I might. And I'm going to speak as an economist. The highest rate of return of any activity on this planet, bar none, is educating a child. And that is not a moral statement, that is a very practical economic statement. If you are with any government, if you're concerned about any national economy, put 90% of your focus on the question, are the children getting a high quality education? Ask where they rank on the International Comparisons League. Are you part of PISA, the program on international student achievement? If you're not part of it, you're already in a crisis because your students need to be evaluated and benchmarked against the global performance, because this is a global labor market, because the ability to attract industry depends on this, because a stable nation depends on a well-educated population. And as an economist, I spend endless amounts of time making graphs of who's ahead and who's behind. And I can tell you by far the most powerful variable is quality of education and access to education. And if you want to know why East Asia booms, which it does, why it is at the cutting edge of technology, why it is the fastest growing region of the world, why it is the fastest in implementing advanced infrastructure, look at the list of student achievement. Every top slot is East Asian right now in the OECD rankings, whether it's Singapore, Taiwan, Hong Kong, China, which focuses on the Beijing, Tianjin, Shanghai clusters, whether it is Japan. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then you wonder why they're doing well? I'm telling you, that's the answer. Because that not only leads to high productivity in industry, it leads to innovation. And in the case of China, now actually the highest innovation economy in the world. And if you look at the most recent rankings of the World Intellectual Property Organization, WIPO, the #1 innovation cluster of the whole world is Hong Kong, Shenzhen, Guangzhou. And that's because the quality of education is so astoundingly high from earliest years to higher education. The biggest single development crisis on the planet is that hundreds of millions of kids are not in school even. So if you're in business or in government, and especially in Africa right now, this is the #1 challenge by far. Every other good thing will follow. If you are in an industry in AI or in educational services or in online education, think about scaling up across a continent that really needs these tools in order to make mass education work and at high quality, because there's nothing more important to do. I don't know whether the list is 200 million or 250 million kids at school age that are not even in school right now, but it's somewhere in that range. And certainly another 500 million or so who are not getting an adequate education, who come out in 8th year or 12th year and can't read, can't do basic arithmetic, don't know scientific concepts. So before we get too esoteric about the future of education, we need quality education for every child. And SDG 4 is universal completion of upper secondary education for every child with quality. That's the most important of all the Sustainable Development Goals, is getting that done. Many governments say to me, we want to attract business. We've got so many young people. I ask them, do you have well-educated young people? Because don't even think that numbers matter of how many young people you have. What a business wants to know is, can I find skilled workers here? Can I find workers who can use advanced technologies? So this is why I want to emphasize education at the start before I even get to AI and education. Let me say one other point. Education costs money. It's not free. Poor countries face a really deep challenge that the world system has not helped them to solve adequately, which is it costs hundreds of dollars per student, even in the poorest countries, to have a chance at something like a quality education. I'd say at least $600 or $700 per student per year. If you look at a budget of a low-income country, this is impossible to actually accomplish, especially because in a typical low-income country, the age pyramid is very wide at the base because fertility rates are high, lots of children, and it may be that 40 or 50% of the population is actually at school age. And it may be, therefore, that you would need 30% of today's GDP in order to be able to field a proper educational system, and that's way out of line for any finance minister right now. We need to help solve that problem. Actually, even borrowing to do it is a good bet, strange as it seems, because the return on education is probably 20% internal rate of return, and government should borrow to do it. Just one problem. They educate young people, and then they go off to the Middle East to work, or they go off to Europe to work, and we also need a tax arrangement so that governments collect the taxes for the children that they've educated so that this becomes possible to do. All of this is to say there's a little bit of financial mechanics that are needed to capture what is an extraordinarily high, essential investment. I'm told my time is coming up, but I have only started. I have about 2 hours of things I want to tell you, but I will be brief. Let me turn to the question of digital education next, before I get to AI and education. We are in a world of digital pedagogy. This is a wonderful thing, actually. I've been a professor for 45 years now. For the first 30 years, nothing much changed. There was a blackboard. Maybe PowerPoint came in, but basically not much changed. Then the classroom opened up to digital everything. The curriculum, the online materials, the ability to connect classrooms, the ability to have distance learning, the ability to bring experts in to talk to the students very easily, the world of Zoom, all the pedagogy has changed. Don't even think about having an education system where the children are not connected online and where they don't have devices. You can't have children now that don't have a tablet or a computer and online access. That's another charge for the budget. But it's necessary. How else are the children going to be part of the real world that they're facing when they become part of the labor force? So the digital world is an incredibly powerful set of tools. Then comes AI. This is new for pedagogues, I would say. Because first of all, as everyone knows, no one knows how to grade anything because the computers write the papers and then the computers grade the papers. So we're in a world where we're still trying to figure out how to actually educate the student, not just their device, or not just their AI, or not just their avatar, or not just their ChatGPT. So there are a few wrinkles still to work out in terms of what education is going to be. But I believe that there are two basic ideas that we need to instill. One is using the AI tools effectively to reach the mass education at low cost throughout the developing world. You can have real tutors now, individualized, but avatars that can really help guide students in learning, can make assessments, can be available at quality, and this is something that I would like innovators in this room to help to do to bring to scale. So using the AI tools for education. The second part of this is, what do we teach in an AI-empowered world? All jobs are going to change. The content of our work is going to change. Our use of these tools as strengthening our own capacities in our work is obviously something that we're all grappling with now. I can tell you from the point of view as a professor at Columbia University, these are big question marks, so I can't give you the answer. The universities are in a deep internal reflection right now about the changing curricula, about the teaching for a world in which we will have AI at the center of every economic sector. So while that may have been the main topic I was to discuss, I can tell you it's the main question mark for education today, so I could not tell you that there's a hard bottom line. There's no doubt in my mind, again, speaking as an economist, that if we get this right, the tools that are being developed now can truly bring an age of abundance. I'm a big fan, I'm a big believer in the breakthroughs in AI, in the large language models, in their reasoning capacity, their aids for research, their strengthening of almost every sector of the economy. As we all know, there are big risks of great inequality, mass unemployment, and other challenges that come along with this that need to be solved. But if we get this right, it's all for the good, or it can be all for the good. And when it comes to education, it can be an incredibly empowering tool for the future, and not the distant future, the very near future. So, one more second. I just want to say, for this week, my own mission is, we have more than 140 heads of state coming, is to impress on them the strategic importance of education for the future of their countries, and I hope you'll join me in that mission. Thank you very much.